Hey everyone, John here! And the Switch 2 trailer was mostly just kind of fine. It showed us the hardware, it's a bigger Switch, and we saw Mario Kart. But for the most part, we didn't really see any brand new features. Apart from this scene right here, with the Joy-Con gliding and racing around. And if you look closely, on both set of Joy-Con is an optical sensor. And this has been rumored for a while that the Switch 2 Joy-Con will function as a mouse. And now, I want all of us to partake in this exercise a moment. Take your Nintendo Switch, pull off the Joy-Con, and just put it on a surface like this, holding it like that, and just sort of shimmy it around. And you know what? This feels pretty good, using the R button as like a mouse click. Obviously, the Switch 2 Joy-Con, if they do in fact have this function, will glide a lot better. This is not made for gliding around on a surface. I imagine it's going to be a lot smoother, but still, this feels pretty good. And the potential in games is vast, especially with both set of Joy-Con having them in co-op games. There's so much that you could do. However, one use has entered my mind, and that is allowing Nintendo DS games, or Nintendo 3DS games even. Obviously, with a standard Switch, doing it in handheld mode would be no problem. You can use these buttons, you can use the touchscreen for when you need it, that is absolutely perfect for DS. But when you're playing docked, not so much. One option is you could have a gyro cursor, and as good as gyro is, it's not really made for being an actual pointer. Most games that try using it like a pointer, such as World of Goo, drift a lot, and certain DS games that would just not be good enough for the long-term play of that game. And so I wanted to mock up what this might be like. So here I am using the Wii U's DS emulator as a template. I've captured Spirit Tracks footage, I put it within the template, and I've done my best to kind of show you what this might look a bit like. So we're using the Nintendo Switch online cursor that shows up during online play, and whenever I move the mouse around, what you're going to see is a near one-to-one recreation of how that would work. And honestly, I think this would be really good. Standard touch may still be superior to what you're doing here, but just in terms of using it docked, making it usable in any sense, I think this is great. Especially for games that don't require touch too much, like if you just need to, I don't know, get like an item in New Super Mario Bros. DS, this would be perfect for that. But for the most part, I think I would really enjoy playing DS games like this, especially 3DS as well. What you may have noticed over the last few years is Nintendo are kind of filling out their franchises on the Switch. F-Zero has every game apart from GX. Pikmin has every game. Xenoblade has every game. Every Donkey Kong Country game is on the Switch. And there are a few gaps with some of these franchises, like Mario platformers, for instance. New Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2 and 3D Land. They're big gaps in the Mario platforming series, and so is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But if the Switch 2 were to be able to play these games using the mouse, then suddenly those libraries are just filled up. And that mouse would work pretty well as a Wii pointer as well. Mario Galaxy does pointing fine on the Switch, but for more point-intensive games, I think NSO would rather use this mouse. Maybe an option for gyro, but that mouse seems a lot more stable for point-heavy games. And that would enable New Super Mario Bros. Wii filling out basically every Mario platformer ever on one console. And just to talk about the actual format as well, obviously the Wii U had a DS Virtual Console, that's the kind of template we're using here. Wii U had a bunch of different options. One of them was having the gamepad screen being the bottom screen and the TV being the top screen, and I don't know how viable that would be unless the Switch 2 can cast from the dock. That may be, but I'm doubtful that is the case. But Wii U still had a plethora of setups. You could have a DS template, you could have no template at all and just have the screens. You can make the top screen big or the bottom screen big, or have it vertical or horizontal. They gave you so many different ways to play around with the screens, and I don't see why that wouldn't be any different on the Switch 2 if they were to implement this. I think you could just take all these templates and put them straight back into the Switch 2 version of the emulator. Though hopefully it's less dark. This was another emulator that got hit by the dark filter on Wii U. I don't want to see that. So honestly, I think this is very likely. This mouse would have more purposes. We'll probably touch on those more in the future, but one obvious one that comes to mind is Mario Maker. But I'm really excited for this. It didn't seem like the Switch 2 had that many new things that it brought to the table in terms of innovations, but turning the controller into a mouse is a really cool one. It's situational, you'd need a desk, but in terms of what it could bring to the console, we'd get PC-like games. Games such as Locomotive could be patched with the mouse mode to be a little bit more comfortable. You'd also get stuff like Roller Coaster Tycoon could be patched with the mouse. You could play cross-playing games like Halo using the mouse, like be against PC players. Like, there's so much you could do. So I'm super excited just thinking about it. But my top one is reviving Nintendo DS and 3DS games through NSO. Anyway, let me know what you think about all this. Does this look comfortable? Does this look a bit ridiculous? I'm too far in to even know myself. You let me know. And we'll catch you later with a lot more Switch 2 stuff. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.